Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Wobble Crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. In today's session, it's going to be another ad hoc play session. Without going into too much detail, did not have the best of days today, so I need a bit of play just to help me through, and what better therapy than a bit of crafting. So I'm thinking about maybe a journal card. So a journal cardy, taggy type like thing. I'm not sure right at this very moment, but a bit of stenciling, a bit of stamping, background. Let's see where it takes us. So without further ado, let's get started. So on my workbench, at this very moment, I've got some white cardstock that is A5 size, which is half of A4. So I'm going to cut that in half, more or less in half. Doesn't have to be perfect, but more or less. Let's count this. So they will be half, more or less half. Let's see. And I'm going to cut a few of these, as I will be using some of this in the next few sessions, so they are ready. It gives me a nice size to work with, not an ATC size, but it is still perfect. So quite a few of those, and they are ready. Now for today's session, let's see. I have really truly no idea where I want to go with this. So I'm thinking, I feel like something with a butterfly. I've got 2 stamp sets here that I'm thinking about, not to say, but you know what, maybe not. I think I would like to use some of those circles that I've done the other day that were from the Collage Fodder idea. If any one of you followed me for that, you will see that I have made some circles with water paint on normal copy paper, and I then decorated it with Posca pens and cut out some of that. I still have about a sheet and another 3 that I have to do. Nobody is forcing me to complete those, but I would just like to just finish them all and start using them, because that's the part that I love. I love making these things, but I don't always get around to using them. I still have a bit of paint on my desk from when I was working on the Collage Fodder papers, and I think I want to use some of that. Now, I'm not going to think about any of this. I'm just going to do. Now, normally you would take the paint and put it in a container of some sort, palette. I simply use these wonderful little bags till I cannot use it anymore, and then I discard it. So it serves a dual purpose. Not only is it packaging material, but I use it as a palette as well. Now, yes, this paint is a bit thick. Let's swap. I'll use the square one for the palette and this one to paint on. Less cleaning afterwards. So I'm going to use some of this color, and now I'm just making marks. There is not a specific pattern for this or anything of that sort. I'm literally just making marks of some sort. Maybe a little bit more paint. And no, this is not pre-planned. I literally have no idea where this is going to take me. I want to use a bit of the color shift. It just also needs a bit of shaking. Wait, it's a bit thick. And opening it up, there's a bit running there. See how thick this is? I'm not entirely sure if it should be that thick. And though I'm recording this, it might not even air. I'm not sure if it will be aired. And I'll just put a bit of paint on my finger. Let's fill that space there. Don't want to put too much because I still want to do a bit of stenciling and stamping as well. I think that will be fine for now. I now want to just try something. I'm going to put a bit of Distress Oxide Reinkers on my, maybe on there. Just give it a good shake because of the pigment at the bottom. Just a spritz of water. And it will probably react because it's made to react with water. And no, I don't want a specific pattern. Yes, you can put it directly onto your project, but we will see how this is turning out. And I'm going to just dab it now into that ink. And if it dries, then you spray a bit of water on it again. I kind of like that. And no, I'm not going to clean this yet. You can put more concentrated color where you want it. I am, like I said, just having a play. And I need to remind myself that I need to actually record everything that I do, because I do tend to forget. And then it turns out good and I'm like, I should have recorded that. So at this point, I'm not sure whether I want to record it or not. But I'm doing that. I'm recording it, so that is good. So I'm going to just try and add a bit of Seedless Preserves here, just for a bit of color. The purple that I added was Villainous Potion. And a bit there at the bottom as well. Right, so we've got some acrylic paint on there, which is the color shift of folk art. And I think the color, let me give you the color. It is called Aqua Flash. 5130 Aqua Flash, which is a turquoise brilliant. There we go. Now you know the color that I used. I want to just dab a bit of water on here, just for that added texture. And remember, if it dries by itself, the effect is not as noticeable. Maybe a few smaller dots can work. And then just grabbing a paper towel. Look at these colors here where it's reacting with the water. I'm going to let that do its thing. Just dabbing with a paper towel, especially where I've made the droplets, so that it can lift that paint. And I'll just wipe that others just off right now. Look at that. Let's do a drop. Wait, that's a squirt, not a drop. And I'm going to just add a bit of water there. And let's see what this does. And let's let it run where it wants to, wherever that might be. Very intense. Right, I like the look of that. Now let's do another one on top there, but not so much, just a tiny little droplet where I just squirted the previous one, and now a tiny bit of water. There we go, and close this before I put water all over. Let's see. Now with this one wants to take its course too. I like the intensity of the color though. And maybe we can just help it a bit along so that we can soften the lines there, or maybe not, just leave it as it is. I like that change of color that has happened. It's quite interesting. So as the color dries, it changes color and goes a whole lot lighter. Now I really truly want the darker effect, so I'm going to try with Distress Ink, and I'm going to just drop this, and then it needs to do its thing. I want that bright color, darker purple on there. And yes, probably need a bit of water to really do it. So I'm tapping this like viciously for it to flow a bit more. Let's do a whole blob of color there and let this run where it wants to. I'm hoping it will really stay that way. Let's see what it does now. And I'm not worried that I'm wrinkling and warping this paper, because paper's got no memory. We'll just bend it the other way and it will be, or should be fine. Right, now that just needs to dry while I just save this reinker and making sure that I do not spoil it all over. Now let's see. I want to turn my water purple. Let's see the effect. Let's see the effect of this. Right, this just now needs to dry. I'm quickly going to mop up that using some tags. So I have a tag that I used previously to mop up some ink, so I will just continue with that. Maybe a bit of water here. Just spritz it on top so that it's really fluid, and just get that mopped up. And no, it doesn't matter, it will be eventually finalized, and then this will be a beautiful background color. We can actually use our tag. I hope this is not going to drop. It actually did. I made another splotch there from the tag, but it's fine. I'll just mop it up there, a bit of a darker spot. Once you start with dabbing and smushing the ink, you cannot stop. I'm telling you, you just go on and on and on and on. Now the bit of the blue disappeared, but that's fine, it's perfect, it's not a worry whatsoever. So let me just take the stamp block away and then just clean my hands. I've got a bit of purple on my hands. So now that this Distress Ink, Villainous Potion from the reinker is dry, you can see that this is a very dark color, more translucent than the Distress Oxide. And I've got some Seedless Preserves here in Oxide, and I have used the Villainous Potion, also Distress Oxide, which at first were very bright, but it dried a little bit more opaque. So then I added the Villainous Potion in Distress Ink. So I like the color of this. I want to do a bit of background stamping. There might still be a bit of ink, so let's just check it for in case. I've used a stamp set the other day when I was making the Collage Fodder, which I had for some time already. So I'm going to just add this there. Not the complete stamp is not fitting onto the block, but that's still fine. I want to just try and add a bit of color there. So let's use Distress Oxide, obviously in Salvaged Patina, which is also one of my favorites. And just adding a bit more interest and depth here. I like that a whole lot. And yes, it is picking up a bit of the ink. You can see the discoloration there on the stamp. Just want to add this. Luckily it cleans with water, so it's not an issue. I want to just add that little bit here that is still on there. And let's see where else. Put some there and there. So maybe on this purple part Okay, I need a bit more ink there. Really like these little circles. And maybe on the edge there as well. You can hardly see it, but it's there, and that gives for a lot of interest. Now, I normally don't clean my stamps, but I'm going to go ahead and just quickly clean this. And it will be easy. It's just water. You can see that, so I'm spraying water from my spray bottle. Just going to do that, and then I'm going to use a simple kitchen towel, paper kitchen towel, and we will quickly clean that, just to show you how easy it is to clean this. Yes, it's a bit discolored from the archival ink that I used previously, and then, and you see, really not an issue when it is on your work surface. You can simply wipe it off. Just want to dry the area. There we go. Now, where I am, it's quite hot, and the ink is already dry. So now, going ahead, and I'm going to stamp a bit of black archival ink. And then I want to just add, I'll do that. Maybe not, because then I can just add the stamp where I want it, and not all over. We're turning this a little bit around. In all sorts of directions. We will come back to the black archival ink. Same thing, if you want to clean it, just put it down, spray on it, and you can clean it. Of course, it's picking up some of the Villainous Potion, especially where the ink dampened the distress ink. So there we have that. Now, a little bit of circles, and for this, I will be using black archival ink. Just want to add this back, put it back on there. Just a bit here and there, as I still don't know where I will be placing anything. Right, don't want to go too dark, so I'll stop there with a black ink. Now, a little bit of a white pen. I think we need a white pen just to liven things up a bit. So to liven things up, I will be using a white marker, and I am going to make just circles. And this is, the ink is still wet in places where I've added some stamping, so I better just hold it to the side of it. This is a Uni Paint Marker. It actually makes marks on any surface. Just going with a circle theme again, or still, and a few more circles here and there, just to have that contrast, and of course, just to liven things up. Now just make sure your paint pen is consistently saturated, so that you can actually have the white paint on your project. You can use whatever white pens you prefer. I like using these ones. And of course it makes for wonderful contrast on the already interesting background. And it does soak up some of the ink, as you can see. Let's do another layer, and hopefully that will be a little bit more clear white. If all else fails, we can always use some gesso. Right. This you can't really see. I picked up some of the purple. Now, for a bit of play with those little collage fodder pieces that I've made the other day, let's see what we have here. We've got some greens and blues. I do not want to use the orange right about now, as that is not the color scheme. Just trying to see what is here. Off camera, that might work. Not orange, not yellow. Of course, I didn't use orange, yellow, and green in the background. Blues might. That makes me think of a guinea fowl. Some flowers. Don't know what yet, as long as it's not orange. We will see now. Once we have it on the paper, or the background rather, then we can see. To show you, green will be exceptionally contrasting with this, but it does not fit. It really does not fit. That might, but there's a bit of green in there, and we will get the gold pens out now. Alright, so I've got some turquoise, blues, purples, which will fit here. I'll just move this one side. And let's see. I kind of like this on there. But let's see. For another type black color. Just to have this. And then maybe something there. I now don't want to cover everything that I've done. And this, of course, doesn't have to be the only size that we use. We can use a punch or two just to make those smaller. If you don't have punchers, you can actually cut it by hand. And yes, we do know that this is almost like playing Russian roulette, as my punches are not working the way that they should be. Now I've got a purple one there. Let's get a jade green in there. Maybe a pinkish color. That can work. There's a smaller one anyway. So let's put that there. And I think this one needs to be a bit smaller. But I would like a bit of that as well. So I'm going to be very brave. And I'm going to punch this. This, hopefully it will work. Having a double layer. Seems like it. Seems like it. And I like that effect. So I'm going to add that there. Don't throw that out. We can use it. I kind of like this. So I'm going to go ahead. And I'm going to put some glue down. And I'm using liquid glue. Not for any other particular reason than because this one is punched out. I need to lift this one off and that one. Of course, I sort of know the placement of those. But this one, I would like to add that. Maybe there. And there's a bit of glue now. That's seeping through. And this, of course, is not a perfectly rounded circle. It was hand cut just on the outline of how I have painted it. And I haven't decided where I want these ones. I kind of like them where they are. So I will just add them there using some liquid glue. I think it is running perfectly. Just testing more. Let me just take that sheet off and then just try again. Maybe some white pen. Let's see. There's also a bit of purple on there. Not to worry. Eventually it will be clean. It's going into a pink now, so that's good. So now I just want to round the edges. And just bend it a little bit so that it can flatten itself. And there we have that one. As I said, this was absolutely just a play, and there was no plan to this piece whatsoever. This is a play for me, and I will be using it on a diary that I have to make for personal usage. So this is resembling quite a lot for me. Quite a bit of symbolism in this captured here. I'm going to ink the edges with some, I think, just for contrast, let's do Salvaged Patina. Yes, the back will be discolored with all the ink that I've added. And there where it's pink, you can actually see the Salvaged Patina much better than on the areas where it is a turquoisey blue color. Quite an interesting and stormy background, but perfect for the little diary that I want to put together. So there we have that, a little bit of a play. The back, if this is bothering you, you can add another piece, just paper, glue that down, and it should be fine. Now this piece will still take some time to completely dry, especially on that Distress Ink, the Villainous Potion. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you for joining me. If you go try this for yourself and you find this inspirational, please tag Wobble Crafting on social media. If you want to see more content like this, please leave me a thumbs up so that I can share my videos with more people. As always, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel too, and if you haven't done so yet, please hit that notification bell. See you back soon. Goodbye.